Hi everyone, I'm Chani, and I would like to warmly invite you to join me for The Way of the Heart, my upcoming online community practice gathering, which starts on October the 13th. The Way of the Heart is about bringing together a group of people who want to do a body of heart-based practice. So these are people, practitioners of whatever age and stage, who I know are tucked away out there. Each of us continuing to do our noble work, whatever that happens to be, inner and outer, and each of us really doing our best within our current circumstances. People like you who are aware of and very sensitive to the painfulness of our current shared situation, just how stressful and difficult life is becoming, it is already for so many. People of good heart and conscience, who want to be making a genuine contribution, to be part of positive change and not adding to the mess. And as part of that, recognizing where we still have our own healing work to do. So recognizing the reciprocity and the inseparability, really, between the inner and the outer. It's not one or the other. Our inner work very much heals the world and vice versa. And people who just want to connect with other people who want the support and the inspiration and also the grounding of coming together to learn, to develop and to deepen into focus practice, with this particular emphasis on the heart, to be able to respond to our lives in skillful and creative ways, and to really explore what it might mean to live the way of the heart. So if you're here, you probably already have an intuition about this, a real sense of this, and possibly also quite a great deal of experience. So you probably do have this sense of interbeing with all of life, this web of relationships that we exist in and are sustained by. You probably feel the rousing of the heart, the very spontaneous rousing of the heart in response to the painfulness that we see and we feel. And sometimes that can be quite overwhelming. So you want to offer something beautiful, something congruent, something wholesome to the world. And you might find yourself asking seemingly impossible questions, like, what really is my heart's deepest desire? What is my deepest wish for my life? What is the power of a human heart? What is the power of love? How does that meet with all the painfulness, all the hurts, all the anger, all the reactivity, all the degradation, the ethical transgressions that we are seeing going on all around us? How do we live with ourselves, actually, as human beings on this planet right now? And how can we learn to meet ourselves, in all of our humanness? How can we meet that and meet the world, as Chogyam Trungpa says, with gentleness, with decency, and with bravery, and perhaps even with joy? And of course, if we try to answer these questions with the mind, we will quickly become overwhelmed. Our rational thinking mind is simply not equipped or designed to solve these kinds of problems, these kinds of questions on its own. So we get confused, we feel bewildered, we feel overwhelmed, we get defensive, we might shut down and just sort of just try to dismiss it away or numb out. Just think, well, what can I possibly do anyway? And that can lead to a certain amount of despondency. But that doesn't really cut it either, does it? Still the heart, the noble heart, will keep nudging us. Yeah, So we need to be able to settle under the reactivity to be able to listen and feel our way through. We need to be continually resourcing ourselves from a deeper place. And so how do we do this? How do we do this? What are the capacities we already have? How can we learn to recognize those, to strengthen them, to develop them? What do we need to take this very raw wish for freedom, not only for ourselves, but for our world, and really work with that in a wise and skillful way? So we need good instructions, we need clear methods, and we need support. So those things are just a fact. It's not going to happen by accident. And we're not meant to do any of this alone. And in fact, we can't. That is a myth and a belief. As much as we might deeply know that that's not true, we still have this belief that lives in us. And so it's something we need to examine and slowly uproot from our body, from our heart, from our mind. We need to connect moment to moment, daily, with our genuine sources of support, our bodies, our planet, this living world, each other, all other living beings. We need to re-enliven this sense of true belonging, that we belong to this earth, that we belong to each other. And even though it's hard, there just isn't another choice, actually. We need to commit to finding another way. And we need to continually anchor ourselves in connected, embodied presence that has a gravity that will pull us to our innate sanity, clarity, and love. So by learning to settle in our own body, in our own skin, we learn to steady our crazy minds. And from there, from that deeper ground, we can begin to open to the possibilities of the heart and allow this to build and light the path as we walk it. So this is what the Way of the Heart is offering. We have 4 weeks together of practice in community to explore all these kinds of questions. Any question that you want to bring, really, in a gentle, supported, and focused way, exploring all of these potentialities, how they already live in you, and how they can become more of a lived reality. So we'll be having weekly gatherings to connect, to practice together, to share. Each day you will receive a daily prompt, which will help just to orient the heart and mind and keep grounding you in the practice. Each week there will be longer guided practices as well for those of you who have the time and the inclination. And all of these will unfold the practice in a gradual way, and all of them will invite you to really use the life that you have as the material. The life that we have is our studio, is our laboratory. And just knowing that we're doing this with other people is so, so helpful. We're coming together to support one another, to learn, to practice skills that can genuinely make a difference to the way that we perceive and the way that we experience and the way that we act in the world. And I just have this image of kind of an illuminated network, that we're all these nodes in the network, and each node in that web illuminates and kind of amplifies the whole in a particular way. So there are just tremendous forces of support that start to gather, a tremendous bank of energy becomes available, this sense of connection, support, connecting to what we already deeply know in a way that is strengthening and joyful and uplifting. So if this speaks to you and you're interested, please have a read of the course information. Please get in touch with me with any questions that you might have. And I really look forward to your company in the way of the heart. Thank you.